Welcome back to Clagwell's Garage. Today on the bench, we've got another rarity. How many of you have heard of a 300 volt battery? I repeat, 300 volts. This thing is not all that big. You can see by the measurements here, it's just about 4 inches by 2 inches. But it is a 300 volt battery. And I do remember these when I was a little kid, back in the early 70s. I would go to the hardware store with my dad to the battery section, and I would see these in the bottom shelf, which is kind of odd to see these things in the bottom shelf because kids can do stupid stuff. But yeah, they were on the bottom shelf. They were 300 volt batteries, and I remember being mentally shocked, no pun intended, that there was a battery that was 300 volts. Because as a kid, we're normally just used to the normal D-cell batteries. And here's a couple of vintage Rayovacs for comparison. I bet a few of you remember these old designs. So, what were the 300 volt batteries used for? Well, very seldom did you run across a scenario where one 300 volt battery was enough to power the device that it was intended for. Most typically, the 300 volt batteries were used to attain 900 volts. They would run 3 of these things in series. And they were mostly found on like high-end test equipment in the post-World War II era, like maybe 1947, 1948. There was probably some other applications that I'm not aware of, but I'm sure people here in the comments could tell us what they were. However, I do have a prime example right here. This is a very large Geiger counter from about 1946, I believe. And why is it so big? Well, not because it has a whole bunch of electronics inside. The inside of this thing is almost completely empty because it is void of any electronic circuitry to produce the 900 volts needed to power this Geiger tube. So what they did was run 3 of these things in series to provide the 900 volts. And then there was a simple circuit after that to relay the information from the discharges in the Geiger tube to this small microammeter. A little bit of math, you could come up with millirentgens per hour. So anyway, there you have another oddity from the old days, the 300 volt battery. If you got any questions about this or even stories about the old 300 volt batteries, I'd like to hear it. So if you find this information interesting, please consider subscribing. See you on the next one.